Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment in our tips and tricks series for Golf Blitz for Android and iOS. Today we have a course that I really am looking forward to covering because I have a lot of fun playing on this course because it's a very unique concept and really plays well to people who have some of the gutsier plays in mind. I am, of course, talking about the Viking Tour. It's one of the Tour's 15. There's a couple of these. We've covered a few recently, and they get shuffled around a little bit, but at this point in time, this is the furthest advanced one that we have not covered as of yet. So strap in, because we are in for a very fun breakdown for the holes that are on this course. And as always, make sure that you like today's video if you find it helpful, interesting, and or enjoyable. Share it to those who you think will benefit from it as well, and please subscribe for that daily variety content. But let's set to the high seas and talk about what you can expect on the Viking Tour. So this very first hole, it's generally pretty straightforward. There's one big change that you can make to it though. If you have the shield ball, you can opt to go this way onto the dragon's head and the acid that's there. However, we don't have that luxury, so we're going to go ahead and make our way over onto this putting green. And next, what you'll need to do is you'll want to come off of the end of this green as far away as you can, but not with too much power because there is acid on that center mast. From here, you're just going to want to make your way down towards the bottom portion of the ship, and that's really where being able to take that first shot onto the dragon's head, if you have the shield ball, cuts out a lot of the headache from here, because it allows you to bypass large sections of this course and get you a lot closer to the final objective, because apart from that, it's a lot of very linear trajectory down towards the bottom. But if you can get onto the dragon's head, that is a very noteworthy exclusion from the predicted path of that course. Next up, we have another one that has a similar format. The difference here is that you don't have acid on the dragon's head. And so if you have something like the sniper ball, or if like me you've spent a lot of points in accuracy, you can take a shot off of the backside of what's the dragon's eye well right there, and you can actually end up in this position here. Now you will want to use either the sniper ball or the gooey ball, because the side of this platform is very far away, and as you can see with the alternate account, even if you use your super ball, you're not going to be able to make your way bouncing off of the arena and all the way back unless you have a very, very high power stat. But apart from that, you're not really going to have a whole lot of luck there. But that's the biggest trick that I have on this particular course. And then towards the end, you'll want to try and bounce off the back part of the stern of the ship. That will help you roll down towards that hole and finish up the course a little bit quicker. And this one is another one that can be a little bit tricky. So what most people are going to do is they're going to take a shot over here, which is going to cause them to jostle for position, which has a lot of fun implications behind it. From here, you'll want to try and get a shot that's going to take you off of the end of that putting green, and then similar to the other hole that we looked at just a second ago, if you can use the sniper ball or the gooey ball in order to get onto the dragon's head, you can cut out a lot of the back and forth zigzagging pattern of this mast on the ship and make your way towards the hole to finish out the course a lot quicker. If you don't have access to that, it's not the end of the world if you have to make your way down the jagged portions of that mast, but it is going to eat up a lot more time. So here's another one that can be pretty fun if you can pull things off correctly. So if you happen to have the shield ball, you can take a high bank shot from right here, and maybe you can stick your way onto one of those rotating platforms. However, it is a very risky move because you're relying on the trajectory to take you in such a way that you don't bounce off of that back wall. So if you can't get that, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. So what you'll want to do is come around here next, and you can actually use a fairly similar strategy to what we've looked at up until this point, where that is attempt to bank off of the eye socket of this dragon, and then make your way off of this wall down onto the rotating wheel. From here, it's just making your way onto the next one, and then up onto the green itself. So if you're feeling particularly risky, you can potentially get a nice bounce off of the acid on the dragon's tail with that shield ball. However, more likely than not, you're going to want to go around the left side of that ship towards the stern. And another one that can be fun yet aggravating at times. So what you're going to need to do here is you're going to want to try and roll along that top portion to the point where you end up dropping down onto the next area. Again, if you have the shield ball, you can potentially make your way onto the dragon's head here. This can be a little bit more tricky because you can't get as high of a bounce as maybe you would like in order to stop yourself from rolling, but it is indeed possible, as you just saw there. If you do that, that's going to help you cut out some other headache-inducing portions of this map, and then you can just kind of make your way onto the final putting green. I got gutsy with a laser move there. However, bouncing off of that back portion of the boat and rolling back towards the hole is also a viable option. So a couple of different decisions you can make there depending on what's available to you. You will need to go through the traditional way if you don't have the shield ball to counteract the acid that's there. Now, this one is very similar to one that we looked at earlier, the difference being the way that the bottom portion of the ship is laid out. But again, if you have that sniper ball or a sticky ball, gooey ball, you can make your way down towards the bottom of this course very, very quickly and have a lot of success in beating your competition to the punch when it comes to making your way onto the green and finishing things off. The way the hole wants you to play this is trickling down the various portions of the mast that's here, but again, if you have access to the sniper ball or the gooey ball, you can cut out all of that nonsense and just cut straight to the point. I think this is one of my favorite holes to play on this course, just because of how chaotic it can be. So you're going to start on one ship, and you'll need to make your way over to the second. Now, I like to get right here, because the intended path is for you to get up on the top of this cross-section of the mast to get a higher vantage point. However, you can bypass that altogether by getting a nice angled shot all the way down towards the bottom here. From this point, you're going to want to try and make your way onto the gooey portion here, or at least to the far end of the ship, to make your shot onto the backside of the adjoining ship's mast, which is where the relatively short putting green and hole is located. And you can have a lot of fun jostling for position going around that way. Here's another one that's a ton of fun to play around with. And this is fairly similar to the other one, where you've got to work your way from one side of the boat to the other. However, this boat is very, very long, and so it takes a lot of incremental progress to get your way through this one. What really helps here is actually the super ball, because you can use it in one of two locations. You can use it there to bypass the gooey ladder, and you can also use it here to kind of bridge this gap and hopefully get a high enough bounce to clear that mast. Now, I didn't quite get it, but if you don't clear that mast, then you can take a shot straight up over the top and bypass the putting green and the gooey section of that mast altogether, which really helps you get down towards the bottom portion of this course quite a deal faster. So in reality, that actually may be a strategy that you'll want to opt for more if you feel comfortable with it. Here's one of the last ones that I was looking for, and I've actually got one of the better tools to demonstrate this with. So you can actually make a shot right off the start here and get around this obstacle without any additional tricks. You've just got to make it through this very, very narrow area and get off the top of the little Viking shield there at the end. And it's a really tight window on that shot, but it can indeed be done. It just takes a lot of accuracy, and you're gonna be a little better off if you try to pull that off with a sniper ball like that. But as you saw, I also had access to the gooey ball, which is a really good way of forcing that interaction as opposed to getting the very precise angle on making your way to the green, and that will allow you to get some closer follow-ups there. Well, I've played through this course a couple of times just to make sure that we've covered absolutely everything, and I do believe that to be the case. So if you feel like there's anything that I missed, please let me know in the comments down below, as that really helps me out. And if you've made it this far into the video, please take a moment and consider subscribing, as that would really help me and the channel. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.